Hi, you guys, and welcome back to Talkin' Smack. It was just Valentine's Day, and if you guys saw my stories, I have never really been the biggest Valentine's Day fan, and it was so cute because my boyfriend, I could tell he wanted to do something. We made dinner reservations, and all of a sudden now I think I'm the biggest Valentine's Day fan. I went all out. I got this pink and red dress. I learned how to slick back my hair in those ponytails, and I did not like it at first, but I think I'm into it now. But it was just so fun. I hope you guys all had the best Valentine's Day. It was just so cute. Anyways, I hope you guys all had a great Valentine's Day. So let's get into the pod.
Back in town on a red baby, don't make me wait. Body been a long while, and I just wanna taste this be alone. I put it down when I come around.
Okay, in this episode, I wanted to talk about breaking out of the mold. If you feel like you're someone who you are, and you have no chance to change your personality or change your habits or do things differently, you absolutely have the power to do so. I feel like so many of us think we're supposed to fit in that mold. We're supposed to fit in society's mold, what our parents think of us, what our friends think of us, and it's not true. And this TikTok actually prompted me to want to talk about this because this guy was talking about when he was a kid, he was like, oh, I want a girlfriend. And his friend, I can't remember his friend's name. Let's call him David. His friend David was funny, and that's how he got girls. He was like, oh, bro, you just got to be funny. And he said he went up to this girl and tried to be funny towards her, make her laugh. And she said to him, stop trying to be like David. You're not funny. Trying to push him back into his mold, trying to make sure that he knew, that's not who you are. You can't be that way. And I really wanted to talk about this because I very much felt that way in high school, because it was oh, I wanted to be this person that was different. I wanted to have different habits. I wanted to have a different personality. I wanted to work on different pieces of my personality. And it's, first of all, high school's hard. Junior high is hard. Elementary school is hard. And when you're surrounded in a place where you grew up, where people know who you are and they expect you to be a certain way, it's really hard to make those changes in becoming that person that you want to be. And so for me, I was kind of stuck in that high school mindset. I was stuck in that thought process of, I am who I am. I cannot make these changes. For me, I was never really the funny one. I was never the smart one. I got to stick in my mold of oh, she's good at soccer. Oh, she knows how to do her makeup or whatever. I felt like all I was ever going to be was somebody's trophy wife. I didn't have those goals set for myself that I could become more than what I thought other people thought that I could be. That sentence didn't really make sense, but in a way of so many of us think we're supposed to be this person instead of actually taking a step back and realizing that we get to design who we want to be. Our thoughts control our outcome, and if we don't think that we can change our path or change our personality or change our habits or change the person that we want to be, it's just not true. And so for me, basically what I'm trying to get to is I moved to LA right after high school, just for the summer, and being in an area where nobody knew who I was, nobody had preconceived ideas of who I was going to be or what my habits were like or, what kind of personality I had, it gave me so much freedom to try on new hats, to try on new masks, to try on different, to, really work on different pieces of my personality that I wanted to develop. And because I had nobody around me telling me, oh, you're not funny, you're not smart, you can't do that, because they had no idea who I was. And so if you have the opportunity to get away, not necessarily by yourself, but even with other people who are supportive of the person that you want to become, having people in your corner helping you or, pushing you to realize you can be so much more than the person you have been in the past. So LA for me, it was so cool because I really just got to try on all these different hats. I got to work on being funny or silly, or understanding that I didn't have to be this quiet, reserved person. And if you have that opportunity, even if it's for a week, to get away by yourself or with someone who's supportive of you, to help you try on those different hats and really practice becoming that new mold of yourself that you want to become. And so for me, you guys have heard me say this in probably every single episode, I'm a big journaler. So anytime I've wanted to make those changes, do things differently, I say, who is this version of myself? What does she do? What are her habits? What is this new version of me proud of? What is this new version of me not allowing anymore? What boundaries are we going to set up? What things are we going to do to make sure that she can get to that new version of herself that she's proud of, that she's excited to be? And one of those things actually started for me early 2022. I had put on a lot of weight and I was self-conscious. And at this point, I was showing my face on social media almost every single day. And you get to a point where you don't recognize yourself anymore. And I felt like my face had gotten, heavier, and I just didn't like the way my clothes were feeling. In early 2022, I was like, this is not the version of me that I'm supporting anymore. I'm not supporting the eating a full bag of Doritos at 10 p.m. at night. I'm not supporting the version of myself that isn't actually taking care of myself. And I set those expectations because that future version of me takes care of myself. That future version of me makes sure that I'm eating in a way that's actually nourishing my body. And it made huge shifts for me, not only physically, but mentally, to realize like I have the power to take care of myself in a way that's supporting the person that I want to become. And of course, it's not easy. You start off and you're like, I don't want to only eat broccoli, chicken, and rice. And the more you become that new mold of you, the more you become that new person, your standards just get higher and higher. And you fall to those standards. So if you don't have any standards in place for yourself, whether that's exercising, eating healthy, making sure you have your to-do list, and making sure you're going to be dedicated and disciplined enough to get through that to-do list, you're going to fall to the wayside. And I know so many of us, it's like, you want that overnight, that you want that instant gratification, and it's simply not true. And having that discipline to be able to be like, okay, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm getting there. And Gary Vee says this all the time, you have to fall in love with the process. And I think this is such a huge thing for me, and I think for most of us, because you get to that hill you've climbed, you get to the top of the mountain, and all of a sudden there's another hill you got to climb. Because once you reach that goal, there's 10 more goals that you're like, oh, well, now that I've done this, I've got other places I want to go. And I think for me too, one thing that, specifically my boyfriend has really helped me understand and start to look forward to is those celebrations. Because there were so many times where I would reach a goal and I'd be like, all right, what's next? I wouldn't even take 5 seconds to celebrate or be excited for myself. And it's, really a cause to take a pause and reflect and really be excited about the journey that you've been on, the journey that you're currently on, and the journey that's going to come for you. Because if you're not taking the time to celebrate those little wins along the way, it kind of hurts. And it takes you back to that place of being like, oh, well, or in a way of like, when you're reflecting on things, think about, have you celebrated yourself? Have you celebrated the steps along the way? Because chances are, and I would be willing to bet that most of you have not celebrated those things that should be celebrated. I remember my sister just graduated beauty school and she had her first day at her salon, and I'm so proud of her. And I texted her and I was like, you need to go celebrate. Like, you need to go to dinner. Make your boyfriend take you out to dinner, go do something. Because I never did any of that. Like on my first day, my own salon, like having my own salon, or even when we got into our commercial space, my dad and I painted, we did all this stuff. Even after our first day, I was like, all right, what's next? gotta get working. And it's like, I guess the moral of the story is take the time to celebrate yourself, because you're gonna look back and realize like, oh, like I did all these amazing things. And even if you think it's small, it's still a huge accomplishment. And you should be celebrated. You should be excited about the little goals, because they add up and they give you that momentum to reach those bigger goals that you're going for. And when you're breaking out of that mold, let yourself be that new version of yourself that celebrates the little things. If that means you got all your tasks done for a day and you're going to go to Starbucks and get yourself a little treat, then you should be able to do that, because life goes by so quickly. The older I get, the more I realize time is fleeting. Everyone's right. They're right about it. It goes by so fast. We want to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Loved & Lash. She offers a wide range of lash products and online courses, perfect for new and experienced lash artists, and especially for lash trainers. She even has an online course for anyone wanting to become a lash trainer. The Charm Tweezer is one of my favorites, and her dreamy silk lashes fan like butter. I'm obsessed with the double mix tray. It's so smart, especially for trainers who want to give their students a mixed curl mix tray. And especially if you like her 0.03s, which I'm obsessed with her 0.03s. They literally fan so easily, especially with that charmed tweezer. And I did just try her perfect pair duo, and I am obsessed. And again, so perfect for anyone who is doing trainings. You can check out all of her products online and in-person trainings at lovedandlash.com. And don't forget to use code SMACKPOD20 for savings. And you need to take that step back. You need to reflect. You need to slow down. You need to get excited about the things you're doing, even if it's paying your taxes, because knowing that your business is doing well enough that you have to pay taxes, or knowing that, oh, you have to take the dogs for a walk but they give you so much love. Like all those little things that become irritations to us, start looking at them like you're so grateful you get to take the dogs on a walk, because you have these loving dogs who love you so much, and you're their whole world. Or thinking about those little things, taking out the trash. Like I just go back into that mindset of gratitude. And especially when you're becoming that new version of yourself. I know for me, I used to be so negative towards my previous versions of myself. Be like, oh, she never worked out, like she sucked, like she whatever. Like, don't get into that habit of talking bad about yourself, because that best version of you, that past version helped create that new version of you. And if you can flip the script and flip your mindset to thinking about, how grateful you are for that person. For me, when I was going through so much anxiety, I hated it. I was so sad and terrified all the time, and I was like, I hate this, I don't want to be this person. And now I look back, knock on wood, not dealing with anxiety as much as I used to. I had to go through that to learn from it. I had to go through that to learn how to become this version of myself, to change my mindset completely. That has helped me with my anxiety. I had to go through a divorce so I could learn from it and learn what I wanted a relationship to be for me moving forward. And this version of myself that I am right now, I'm still working on myself. There are still so many things that I want to accomplish. There's still so many things, habits I want to change. But just knowing that I'm so grateful for my past selves getting me where I am today and helping me along the journey. So basically, this is a shorter episode, but I want you guys to think about, what mold are you in right now? And what mold do you want to, grow into? What are the things that she or he does? What are the goals that this person has for themselves? What are the habits that this person has? What are, how does this person talk to themselves? Because it's going to change your life. It's changed my life, being able to talk to myself more kindly and realize that I am able to create this person that I want to be. And you don't have to be the person that other people think you are. And quite frankly, the person that other people think you are is not even close to the person you actually are inside anyways. So don't let what other people's thinking about you affect you at all. Because I've said this a number of times, and I've heard this, I'm sure you guys have heard this, but people who are criticizing you, or what's the phrase? No one above you or ahead of you is going to be criticizing you. It's always the people looking up to you that are behind you that want to throw rocks towards you. So don't listen to them. Get to the point in your life where you are strong enough and you're confident enough in the person that you are, that even if things are said about you, it doesn't bother you, because you know that it says way more about them than it does about you. You have the ability to change who you are. You have the ability to completely change your life, and you just have to start taking those little steps, and it's not going to be overnight. You're going to get there. It might take some time. It's going to take that daily thought, but you can do that. I love you guys. I hope this episode was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and definitely rate and review the show if you enjoyed this, and we'll see you guys in the next one.